Welcome to Martech CXO Dialogues. This is a podcast by Niswey where we speak to CXOs from some of the biggest and the brightest enterprises in India. And we have them share their strategies, learnings, and insights that led them to drive massive Martech enabled growth in their organizations. I am Abhinav Sahai, and the co founder at Niswey.
And I'm Adarsh Noronha, HubSpot Country Director for India and SAARC. And together, we will uncover what it takes to find success with Martech in the Indian business context.
On the panel today, our guest is Anwesha Dutta. Anwesha is the head of marketing India with the ESR Group, which is Asia Pacific's largest real asset manager. She's worked with luxury and lifestyle brands and helmed several successful growth campaigns across the UK, Europe, China, and the Middle East. She's now bringing her skills to the real estate industry and leading some truly innovative changes to drive growth.
We'd like to hear, more about ESR as an organization, and then more about your role specifically with ESR India.
So ESR is one of the world's largest real asset platform, and we invest heavily into new economy real estate. We are present in 28 countries. So, marketing is also fragmented and very localized because what works in China, the strategy in China may not be applicable in India. But how you approach customers, how do you generate leads to like the experience you want to give. Though we have like an overarching brand, which is consistent across markets, but the markets have their own autonomy in deciding on tools, how they want to run their marketing and manage their experience as a brand per se. So, as I said, we were very, very reliant on like outbound events, advertising, etc. And I was one of the early proponents to come up with, okay, fine, let's run a lead generation engine ourselves and generate more leads in-house than depending on external resources, or reduce dependency on IPCs or property consultants. And that's where we started using a tool like HubSpot. And just for my role, so as I said, I came from a very different background, very new to real estate. My role was to like kind of challenge the existing structure in terms of how real estate marketing is done, right? How do we disrupt this whole process, bring something fresh, and like just change how people's mindsets are set? Because I've given me so much pushbacks on do this event, that event. And personally, I'm a very data-driven person. If I see like, okay, we spent a certain money, but I can't justify the ROI of this particular event, or I can't justify why I did this ad, though there was a QR code, people come to a website, we didn't get that much response, or didn't get converted. So yes, like my initial days was building the brand, because that is not something you can just push advertising or just push content, like building the brand and just being in the forefront. So my first year was just focus on, okay, be everywhere a little bit, build your network, be visible. But then we curtailed like, okay, fine. Because we grew in size, also the business helped in terms of growing very rapidly in the first 2 to 3 years. Then it was like, okay, fine, like optimize, cut down on budgets on different avenues which you can't justify why you spend money on, and focus on avenues and increase the budgets in places where you can see, okay, this is what I spend and this is what I got in return. And you have better structure in terms of how you manage marketing. And you can also indulge or experiment a lot of things because you have a tool supporting it. Mm-hmm. So this is how it started. Yes, I was hired as a head of marketing for ESR to lead the India marketing initiatives and any other market we want to expand in. And luckily, I have been one of the front runners in the global team in deciding on tools, experiences, how to, kind of create a better digital experience of a person who comes to a website. Like I'm very much integral person in the global marketing team to build ESR as a brand, as an experience in itself. So that's how my journey has been, and that's what the company does.
You have been leading this in ESR, the entire taking the brand to the next level. And we've heard great stories about your work and the contributions you've done. So very keen to hear How did you envision? What's your process? What's the best practice generally that you would want to suggest to CMOs who would want to use these Martech platforms?
So, so I came from a background of luxury, retail, e-commerce. So when I went into the industry, like I didn't know basic terminologies of real estate, to be honest. And then ESR is technically a fund management platform. So we have like institutional investments from like sovereign funds, pension funds, etc. And we create a fund in India and we invest in new economy real estate. So what does new economy real estate mean? Like anything which kind of propels the economy, helps industries or technology, etc. So we are into developing and managing, say, industrial parks and data centers, getting into life sciences, these kind of categories. So it's not like the brand is very different in terms of how somebody will convert into a customer, right? It's not like, okay, I want to set up an industrial facility. Let me just check out a website. Oh, there's a good tool and check out and it's done, right? So it's a very complex decision-making process. There are multiple layers till a person decides to go with a facility, right? So you're looking at like decision-making process, like how the design should be or the size should be, what is the height and what do we need? How do we fit in? Is the location okay? My labors can come, and how's the transportation? And then what the facilities the park is offering, et cetera, et cetera. Then it comes to pricing. And if it fits into everything goes well, it's a tick mark. So it's a lot of parameters in decision-making, and which is not very easy. Like, okay, I take 5 steps from the internet and like apply it, right? So I think when we started marketing, so it was very outbound driven. So we do like a lot of big events because we were like a new brand and we had to make some noise in the industry. We mapped like all our customers, I think, which were mostly like supply chain or real estate leaders in different companies. So maybe your e-commerce company, somebody wants to do cold chain, FMCD, industrial production, manufacturing sector. These were like the kind of categories we focused on, and mostly their real estate heads or supply chain heads will be our customers. And we mapped out everyone. It was not more than 30,000 people in the entire country. So the pool was not very big, but how do you keep this pool of audience engaged? And that's where we came in. So I had a discussion with my CEO. He's like, listen, most of our dependency is on our property consultants. That's our business. Across the world, it will be like that, right? Tomorrow you're looking for an office space. You don't go to the internet and like, okay, fine, check out this. This meets my criteria. There's a design and build process, etc. And especially with manufacturing, there's so much more to consider. Or an e-commerce platform like your Amazon, Flipkart. There's so much to consider. Oh my, how many racks, this, that, the efficiency, if I can include automation. There's so many parameters to consider. So it's easier to go through a property consultant than doing it yourself. But my idea when I pitched was like, let's just make the platform more accessible, that people get way more information through our content, through how we design the website, through the forms, the brochures, to all the information. Let's just be more proactive in reaching out to people, giving the information, right? That's where it started. Okay, fine. Now they have the information. If there was a way to convert and generating our own lead generation and growth mechanism, why not? So we just wanted to do, we started with like reducing our dependencies on property consultants, though they'll still be the core people who will get us business in terms of leasing. But we just wanted to reduce it slightly, because even like people who convert on the website, they must still go to a consultant and get more options. So that was the idea where we started, like to have our growth engine in-house. We took like enterprise SaaS like playbooks and like, how do we implement this model? Okay, we don't have BDRs and AEs and all. How do we use internal resources and, like a CS team, like build like, kind of distribute responsibilities and function. So I think that's why it started, like, okay, reduce dependency on property consultants, make decision-making easier, give our customers information beforehand, even before they meet us, like give them all the tools. So the meeting is way more productive, because we're a very limited team in terms of people who do leasing, people who do marketing, very, very lean team. So we just wanted people to have all the ammo possible before they even get to meet us. So the decision-making cycle is faster. And it has worked. I think, yes, there's still a huge dependency on property consultants, but over time, we have reduced that to like at least 20% is direct conversions right now, which is like a big win for us.
Good.
Yes, which was not the case earlier.
That is awesome.
And how long did this take? You said now we were nowhere and now we are at least 20%. I mean, how long did that take, that journey?
It took us 1.5 years, to be honest. It wasn't easy. We generated a lot of MQLs, but I think there was like 50%, 60% almost. Like it doesn't get converted into SQLs,
Right.
and which is understandable considering our product. But then after it is an SQL, what kind of experience you provide so that they convert, right? It doesn't end with the information on the website or the content you produced. How your team is trained to like give them that experience what they got online already, and having the same approachable version. Like we really, really drilled down in where we were dropping out in terms of the funnel. Sometimes it was pricing, which we couldn't do anything about. I think Addy will agree, like this is it, this is the price, like we can't do anything about it. But let's just, kind of match it with the experience they'll be getting. It's a big decision for a company spending like millions to be in your facility. Like how can you be a person which is more approachable, more proactive, making sure their needs are met? So I think beyond the pricing, it's just the experience and the team that we have built actually help us convert quite a bit.
Yeah, because wherever we have sold, stereotypically speaking, most of the people that associate Martech are this tech-savvy digital industries, your B2B industries, right? So for a real estate fund management company, right, who drives more relationship on the ground, like you mentioned, the brokers and all, I'm very happy to see that you not only went ahead and adopted a tool, but the numbers that you were sharing a while ago, those are so encouraging, isn't it? Did you any moment feel, this might not be a good idea?
No, actually, like that way I'm very blessed. Like as the setup, like our CEO is very open to new ideas. And when we entered the market, we thought we're gonna disrupt the market, right? We're just gonna do everything differently. We'll not go anything by the book. We'll learn from different industries and implement. And luckily we had that kind of support. So if you really have like a good leader who has that vision, okay, disrupt, like make changes, introduce new things. If we try, we fail, it's fine. We improve what we had done. And, like, I think the best part was like nobody, even like the entire ESR team and across platforms, nobody was using like a lead gen engine in-house. Yes, they have good website. So we were like the first ones. Let's if it works in SaaS, like why not us? We can fail, maybe spend a little money in campaigns and this and that, but let's just try it out. Why we wanted to use a CRM in the first place was there was data everywhere. And that data was not nurtured, that was not managed, that was not communicated to. So how do we use one platform which can firstly integrate data and all the multiple 100 tools we were using to manage a website, to like a chatbot, to our calls, to this and that, like have one platform which does it all, especially if you're running a lean team. And especially when you work in a larger enterprise, I think every penny spent is like questioned, right? When you're young and hungry and, people are a bit more adventurous, but when you work in a certain setup, like, do you really need a tool? Do you need that? All these questions need to be answered. And when they see, okay, fine, I can let go of 6-7 different tools. If one tool does it, like, why not?
I wanted to pick your brains on probably more from giving an advice to our audience and some of the CMOs who might be seeing this and who are at the cusp of making a decision or thinking if this is the right time, because marketing tech stack, it comes in different forms and shapes for people. If you break it down, while the project management piece is at the center, there is your SEO, SEM, you spoke about keeping people warm with your database, be it social medias or be it emails, etc. And more of a dynamic website that you should have, and the website should speak about your brand for some stranger who just walks in. and stuff like that. How do you optimize that with CMS and etc. Or general UI or the graphic designing part? All of these are various components, and any CMO could be spending their focus and energies in any one of them or stuck somewhere. From your experience, Anwesha, what's the right time for somebody to leap into the faith to be put into Martech stack to be adopted?
In my opinion, just analyze what is your product and what is your audience in the first place, whether there is a need for this, and then you think about how do you engage different kind of marketing activities, what is a performance marketing strategy, etc. I think why we went on the HubSpot journey or a Martech tool, because we just wanted the ease of use and have like a singular view, right? Because we had as any fund management platform, it was very, very lean teams. So if you want to stay lean, not increase your team doing like crunching numbers on Excel sheets and, has the time to go on to 10 different platforms, analyze data. So as the world is getting optimized, if you want a more optimized view, save time, resources, just have a holistic view as you go in, log in, okay, have like a view like that and gives better results, reports, and analyze what can be done better. I think and what is missing, what can be done better, and how can you improve your customer experience, also your experience of the internal stakeholders. Once they go onto a platform, they have, okay, fine, this is my holistic view. Okay, a leasing head goes in and say, okay, this is where we are. So if you want to optimize, save time, have a lean team, and you have a lot going on in terms of inbound, definitely go for a Martech platform. If you are motivated to improve your campaigns, improve your performance, decide which channel is performing, where to spend money, and justify internally like why you did something, definitely use a Martech platform and make the most of it. Like it takes a lot of work initially, but once the system is set, your life will be easier. I was like the biggest proponent of generative AI. Like nobody will use, like people are so scared of like ChatGPT and Bard and all that. Like it helps my life out, if you give the right kind of prompts. Like you don't want to copywriting. We just get some ideas. Like you don't need somebody racking their brains for 3 hours to come with a one-line copy when an AI tool can do it. But there are other things when it comes to authenticity, how you balance it out. I think the same with HubSpot. Like, yes, there are things which is a bit challenging, but if you use the tool the right way, it can save so much of your time. It enabled me to keep a very lean team. Or else if you're running a growth engine yourself, how many people will be involved to run it. I could do it with a 2 or 3 member team because it's virtually impossible to do it without a tool. So I think saving time, keeping things organized, maintaining your data, even like somebody joins new, it's just so much easier for them to get hold of the system, the background of certain clients, what work has been done, passing on from one person to another. Like they have all the ground information, a business continuity point of view. I think a tool like this really works. So if you're ready for it, if you want to put in a bit of work initially and then reap the benefits later, you have a team which is enthusiastic to learn, or you really have to have a certain reporting structure, makes your life easier, get access to data in a single view, integrate your tools. If you're ready to take on the next step in terms of marketing and have a more integrated approach than using different tools to get the same outcome, I think yes, you are ready for a Martech platform.
You said that upskilling was also not a problem. So how did that happen? Like people went through trainings, academies, or what did they do to get upskilled quickly?
I think the team buying is the most important thing whenever using a platform. How do you convince your team to use a platform? It is a mammoth task. I think that was the most difficult task for me. I think upskilling happened through Niswey. That's where you guys come in.
Okay.
So we worked with Rajiv very closely, and also what I learned, I implemented with other team members. Really drilled it down to simple processes they can implement on a day-to-day basis. Instead of, nobody has the time, especially with our teams, they're busy closing deals, there's lots going on, getting their time out. So we did very bite-sized lessons for people to follow, but like 15-20 minutes call. Whenever I did it myself, I got trained by Niswey to like implement myself, because we know like very specific outcomes we need from them, and make sure they could manage that process. So upskilling was not a mammoth task, to be honest, but people were very open to learning, and just making it much easier and time saving, just very thorough with what you want from the platform helped. Like basically bite-sized lessons for leasing team to get acquainted with, okay, get like quicker results, create better reports, easier way to manage leads. So we just drill it down to very small lessons, and as well as constantly work with them in getting their feedback. That really helped, because they also felt like they were a part of this journey, right? They were a part of this tool and the adoption process. Getting them engaged from early on really helped us upskill as well as implement.
Yeah, I think okay, sure, Niswey did something, but I think two key things you mentioned here. One was that the team was open to it, and the second thing is that we knew what we wanted out of the platform. I think those
Right.
two things probably drove the learning, faster, because obviously, I mean, as a partner, we've implemented, lots of solutions and did lots of training, but we don't see, everywhere that the team really starts using it. They keep struggling. We've seen a lot of times, and even if HubSpot is there across the organization for multiple years, we've seen teams come back and say, ask us, hey, can you tell this all of this again? I'm not able to do it, and things like that, right? So which is why I was curious, because you said your team skilled upskilled quickly. So I think that's those two things that you mentioned probably worked in your favor very well.
I just feel if you have a very clear outcome in mind, what you want from a person, and just first understand how will they use the platform, right? Get all those questions correct, and see what are their expectations. Okay, you have a tool like HubSpot. What is your expectation? And when you kind of create a plan where the expectations are met, they feel like more involved. Okay, fine. I wanted this, and I'm getting it done to this tool. Makes my life easier, saves time, gives me access to different things, like even if you want to know about a client, somebody else is working on it, how easily, instead of kind of going through multiple Excel sheets, etc. So how are their needs met? How it makes their life easier. As when you have answered those questions, then adoption becomes easier. Just very clear, precise outcomes, and delivering on the expectations.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because, so we've done, quite some bit of research around this, and, we've seen that, I mean, one of the biggest, 1/3 of the CMOs do say that, upskilling their team is one of their biggest challenge. So it's quite a big, challenge, honestly. And which is why, I mean, kudos to you and the team.
I would say like initial months, like really tough. Like we had to do a lot of work for constantly, keep people engaged.
While you do that on one front and you are getting them really adopt the tool, be very super users and really drive the benefit and get the ROIs, as a leader, while you're doing that, obviously you're inspiring them. But I'm keen to hear from you, what is your process to keep yourself updated with the things that are changing? Because everything is changing in a rapid phase now. As a leader, if you have to inspire somebody, you need to be really on top of the things, be very latest. So yourself, your thought process has to be so agile. So what's your process, Anwesha? What are the things that you do that most of the CMOs can probably try to do themselves?
The regular stuff. I wouldn't say I would do anything extraordinary, but yes, I have a keen interest in learning, I would say. I've never like really kind of keeps the drive on, like in terms of what's newer with technology, how people are improving their experience or their way of working by adopting new technology. Luckily, I have been blessed with such kind of a community and friends and people around me. They're always pushing the limit, taking risks. And that also has kind of kept me abreast with what is going on. How do we be a little bit adventurous and not just getting the monotony of how other real estate companies work or how funds work, just taking new challenges and adopting them and see. And also like having that appetite for a little bit of risk. Everything involves a bit of risk, and yes, you might fail, but there's a huge learning experience, and there's a way of making your product or reception of a product or acceptance of a product better. So taking a bit of having a bit of risk appetite really helps. Also, like taking on like consumer marketing is a great tool. I think they have such great ideas in terms of how they communicate, how they reach out to people, and see what can be integrated with us. Even like, as I said, we started with what a B2B company, a SaaS company will do in terms of adopting a HubSpot or a Martech platform. And we use the playbooks. It's constantly learning from different industries, different companies, and see what you can adapt and, kind of improve the business, your processes, your approach. That has really kept us, I think, a little bit fresh in terms of the brand perspective, also on how we use technology and how we can keep lean teams and still get similar, better results.
So beyond the the Martech tools, like was ESR already using other tools? Like you mentioned that we were using a bunch of tools, but for other things, like were you already using a few other things? Was the organization using it, and you had to kind of say that, hey, okay, this is what we are going to do. Let me share a little context before that question. Basically, what we started to see, and Adi, maybe you can give in your perspective as well. What we've been seeing right now is a lot of organizations, enterprise especially, are coming to us and saying that, hey, we already have a ERP in place, but we don't have a marketing automation tool in place. And for us, initially it was very surprising that how can you move to an ERP before even having a marketing automation tool? You don't know where your leads are going, etc.
Right.
We're seeing that kind of trend though now. So was it the same in ESR as well, or maybe you've seen some of this?
See, I was one of the early, I think, marketing hires in ESR India as such. So yes, like for me, the team, whatever they managed, was very outbound driven, like big events, etc., engaging with people and property consultants. So what I saw, like we started, making our own website, obviously, nurturing data through MailChimp. Then we'll have like a toll-free number for calls if people want to have further information. Worked on the IVRs, how easily they can get access to a particular person with their queries. So that was like our initial approach, like, run campaigns. It's fragmented, but they all work. They're still working today. I would say the email channels to like Google ad campaigns to whatever we did on LinkedIn in terms of creating the brand, as well as kind of subtly talking about our products, building thought leadership. So it was all there. Different channels were there. I think HubSpot brought everything together with a singular view and kind of optimized our time and experience. But yes, we were using tools to like have a chatbot tool, have a calling tool, have like other tools to like, manage our, kind of have like a repository of our leads. So you had to like log into 10 things in the morning to see what has done well or where you are, analyze performances, see responses. So that's what kind of helped us with HubSpot, having a singular view of all our channels, not invest so much in different tools, just have one and have more integrated and seamless experience for people. Imagine like, like you have something and go into the CMS of this and CMS of that and see, okay, these are the calls, these are the messages, these are the chats, like different avenues. So it's very, very cumbersome and time consuming for us to like log into different channels, see performances, pass on things to the different team members. And then obviously once you've done that bit of the manual work, then you have to like maintain things to see how how your MQLs are performed, or how this conversation has been taken forward. So it became really cumbersome for us with a lean team to like carry on with the processes. And that's where we actually actively needed a tool to like simplify our journey and make the whole team use it simultaneously and have better reporting structure and analyze the performance and make it better in terms of different channels that we're using.
Yeah. And so you would have then integrated the rest of the tools around this. I mean, obviously some you let go, but the other pieces, maybe an ERP or
So we didn't have an ERP. We didn't have an ERP. We uploaded all our previous, like our sheets, all our data, etc., on the platform. And yes, we let go of MailChimp. We could do like email campaigns from HubSpot. That really helped. Google Ads was integrated. That also really helped for us to like adopt, not go and see performance of different pages and do ad performances, etc. So I think that also helped in like saving time. Yes, the calls were also integrated. Then I think that whole integration took a bit of time, but then we had a singular view from the get-go. We got adopted on the HubSpot per se. So that gets brought into one singular view of different channels. If we had to get both tools, like the chat feature was already there. We didn't need like a separate chat feature. So we brought it to the HubSpot marketing automation.
Yeah.
We let go of tools and retained some, and then integrated some to like have a more holistic view of what channels are performing, what is doing, what can you do better.
Okay. Adi, your perspective, I mean, have you seen, organizations using a lot of other tools and then coming, how's it, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think now, at least this age, everybody is aware of customer engagement becoming really, really important from day one. It's no longer once you become a customer or once I'm talking to you on a transaction, will I give you my tender love and care? Those thoughts have gone out. Now we are looking at even your segmentation part of it, the early stage of prospecting. You're so conscious of the brand that you want it to be communicated, that you are investing proactively, because the chain is as strong as the weakest link. So if your competitor is doing something, you will anyways follow suit. That's as good as it. And I think recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've seen, especially after the pandemic shift to most companies going global and improving their target addressable market beyond their small domestic realms, they've adopted being digital first, and that has helped them. The thought leadership that I was talking earlier, now they rely on digital one. Now, what happens is when everybody is doing that, now you're looking at sophistication in that, hyper personalization, personality-led content thinking, and stuff like that. Now we are going deeper. Now at this stage, if you're not even aware of marketing automation tool, then you are way behind the race. So it's very difficult. However, the flip side of it is there are so many options, so many silo options, and so many leaders come and go in marketing environment of a company because of the tenure or the knowledge. Everybody would have brought a tool, and you don't know what every tool is going to do. And if you're having duplicate tools, all that. So someone like Anwesha would come in and say, all right, this is my strategy, this is my holistic view. And then they leap into something that is probably end to end or covers most of it. Till that time, you'll have multiple things. I've seen some of the logos of tech stacks that companies have. It's mind-blowing. I don't understand how the IT teams really want to be involved, keeping the bulb on for so many apps. Things are becoming easier now. We were talking about how HubSpot is just built on single source of code and not just bought over a company, stitched it together and made a beautiful shirt. So people are leaning towards something that's scalable, that's easy to use, that's returning your investments accurately and reporting it accurately. Not just return on investment, but the reporting of it. Which channel is doing, which campaign is doing well. Those things are very critical now.
Yeah, truly
Totally
integrated. I think that's what we're looking at, right? Yeah. Sorry, Anwesha, go ahead.
No, I think also like as HubSpot is scaling and it's growing, so you're also getting resources who had some previous experience with the platform, which wasn't the case a couple of years ago, I believe. So that is also helping the case, because people always had that Salesforce mindset, or I use this and Microsoft Dynamics, and they'll come to you because they've been used to using a certain tool, and then you push a new tool. Okay, this is much better, this kind of integrates the sales and the marketing team much better, and has a seamless user experience. They're like, oh my god, I have to learn a new thing, I have to implement it. There's like this whole fear of using something new. It's very human, right? But you have to incentivize and motivate and show value, and then things become easier. But as I realize HubSpot is growing, more and more people are using it. Like it is a bit. I'm still a new entrant in our space, but we hired marketing resources, legal resources. They can from any industry. I think they're also coming with the prior knowledge of using a platform like HubSpot, and that is also helping the case in adoption.
Yeah. I think a year or maybe about 18 months ago, we did a audit for a enterprise, and they had 32 tools just in the sales and marketing
Oh
side.
my God.
Yeah, and we were like, boss, what are you doing? So we had to, I mean, it went through a whole, 2 months exercise just to figure out and tell them, which ones to keep, which ones to let go, and, where all you have redundancy and all of that. And, I still remember it was a mammoth task just for us to tell them that, boss, you don't need these many tools. So, exactly what Addy was saying.
Agree.
Leader will
I
come.
just say sorry. I think this is my experience with other people I've worked with. Nothing against you, Addy, but it's mostly the sales guys, They're like, oh my God, the guys are using this. Why don't we have that? They want to have like all the tools possible. Like they want to have all ammunition without giving a long-term thought of what's gonna like really optimize the business. They're like, the competition has it, we need it. Like they don't see like a long-term perspective of application. And they are not the people who are applying it, right? They are not the people who are actually doing the hard work in the adoption process. They just here to like, okay, this is cool, this is nice, we should have it, without having a long-term view and not understanding the amount of work needed and the amount of focused approach needed that for people to adopt or certain things. They want like good tools like Kitty.
It's just the new version of iPhone has been released. I want it. Same.
No, because I feel, okay, sales guys are really great at convincing people. They also but get convinced very easily.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree to that.
Compared to a marketing person, I would say, because they know the work they need to put in to buy a tool, convince internal stakeholders, and make people implement and adapt to those tools, and then creating the whole SOP around it. So I guess, yeah,
I feel
it's easier
just
to sell
given...
to like a salesperson because they will take any tool. Just say like 5 of the competitors using it, easy buy-in.
You have just given us a segue to the next episode that we might want to start. What do marketers think of sales, and what do sales think of marketers?
No, they're hand in glove with everything, but yeah, they have different approaches to solving the same problem, right?
True.
Yeah, we keep saying that they are the single team, it's a revenue team, but we've always been solving those challenges, honestly.
Yeah.
So did you have prior experience with HubSpot personally? I mean, you said that you knew it was easy to use and you could get the adoption faster. So like, did you have prior experience, or did anybody in your team have experience?
So I think none of them had it. Neither did I, but a lot of my friends, and they have like, they run their own SaaS companies, and so even like 2 girls I stay with, they run their own SaaS platform. So it was just easier. It's a shared knowledge. We always share like, okay, like what has worked for you, what has not worked for you. I think that's where it came from. Being a part of community who actively uses it, and seeing them using it day in, day out and getting results, and especially when they are trying to build a company, such a good tool to have from day one, structuring your process from day one. I think that's what motivated me to use HubSpot. And I've been reading about it, working, seeing videos, and I've been in conversation with HubSpot before, like 4 or 5 months before we made a decision to go ahead with it. So all this learning, the environment I was in actually motivated us to like zero down on this platform.
Wow. That's a huge leap of faith, just listening or believing your friends and then saying, okay, let's go with this because this sounds the easiest. Never used it, but sounds the easiest.
Not at all, actually. Not actually, because you believe in the friends you trust way more than, I just met Addy briefly. I wouldn't trust what he says, but it came organically recommended by people. Then like, you should always trust your friends. You should always listen to them. And especially if you're close friends and building businesses, driving companies, And that comes with so much more like an authentic recommendation than anything I would trust on the internet or somebody trying to sell me stuff.
That's true.
Totally agree. And as a reflection of that, if I may share, not absolute numbers, but the biggest revenue source for HubSpot, for sure in my region and elsewhere as well, is word of mouth. You don't see us really participating in huge sponsored events or road shows and advertisements in airports, etc. We don't do that. You will always listen to people who have used HubSpot. They stay with HubSpot with so much of love. They pass that word of mouth. I'm so scared to tell a movie to my wife. That's how afraid I am. I don't know what she'll feel. So for somebody to suggest an enterprise solution to be used in another company where there is so much of things at stake, that talks about the credibility of the tool or the platform or the service, whatever that word of mouth helps them to spread. So I think it's a marketer's dream to improve that word of mouth quotient. I think it's an enigma that not many of them have been able to solve, isn't it?
Wonderful, and honestly very inspiring, especially because you chose an industry you've never been a part of. So it's really inspiring to hear your journey, Anwesha. Thank you so much for being so candid and sharing everything. I'm sure the CXOs, who'll watch will get inspired, just like the way you transforming, they would want to do it in their organizations as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.